All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into a collection of 50 prompts designed to help unlock your productivity and creativity. 50 prompts, though, that's a lot to go through, so we're going to focus on the ones that we think are going to make the biggest impact for you starting today. We'll be covering things like managing that overflowing inbox like a pro, and how about making those meetings, well, a little less dreadful.
Yeah, these prompts can be thought of as little mental nudges, these sparks that get you to take action and focus your thinking. It's like having this built-in coach in your head, kind of whispering in your ear and guiding you to make some real positive changes.
All right, I'm intrigued. So where do we even begin with these 50 prompts?
Well, it's important to remember that this isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. The magic really happens when you adapt these prompts to fit your own needs, and you can keep refining them as you go along.
I like that. So it's more like a toolkit you can personalize. And speaking of tools, let's talk about getting organized, because I think we all feel overwhelmed by the amount of information out there these days.
Right, and that totally aligns with what you're looking for, which is to cut through all the noise and get to what really matters.
Absolutely. So prompt #1, this one's all about efficiently catching up on any topic. But how does it actually work?
So imagine you need to get up to speed on the latest developments in sustainable living, right? This prompt is like your own personal research assistant. You give it the topic and a time frame, and it goes through your emails, your documents, articles, even chats, and it pulls out the main points and summarizes them for you. No more endless scrolling, just the key information you need.
Okay, no more feeling lost in an ocean of data. What about prompts #2 and #3? I feel like these tackle the email monster.
They do. Let's face it, email can be a major source of stress. And these prompts help you take control by guiding you through a process of summarizing and prioritizing all those unread messages.
So instead of feeling buried under a mountain of emails, you can actually start to get a grip on what needs your attention. Now that we've tackled that inbox beast, let's move on to another monster, the never-ending to-do list.
Ah, yes, the bane of anyone who's trying to be productive. Prompts, #4 and #5 bring in some popular productivity frameworks like the Eisenhower Matrix and getting things done.
Wait a minute, for those of us who aren't productivity experts, what exactly is the Eisenhower Matrix?
It's a great system for figuring out what tasks to prioritize based on how urgent and important they are. You categorize each task as do now, schedule, delegate, or delete, and it helps you make clear decisions about where to focus your energy.
Okay, I can see how that would be a total game changer. And prompt #5, this one really stood out to me because it's all about action verbs, do now, schedule, delegate, delete. It's like a drill sergeant for your to-do list.
Well, it's definitely more effective than just staring at a long list and feeling totally overwhelmed. You brought up a really good point there, the sense of urgency. These prompts aren't just gentle suggestions, they're calls to action. And for busy people like yourself, that can be a huge motivator.
I'm all about action, so that definitely appeals to me. But what if you're someone who needs to see the big picture? Are there any prompts that work well for visual learners?
Definitely. Prompt #6 encourages you to create a visual dashboard to keep track of your top 5 tasks, their status, and any potential roadblocks. It's like having a visual roadmap for your most important goals.
I love that. It's like taking all those thoughts swirling around in your head and putting them down in a way that makes sense. And what about teamwork? Are there any prompts that help with collaboration?
Prompt #7 tackles that head-on.
Well,
It encourages you to think about who to involve in each task, how to delegate effectively, and even how to estimate the time needed for completion.
That's great for making sure things run smoothly and avoiding bottlenecks. So we've conquered email, we've tamed the to-do list. What's next on our productivity adventure?
Let's talk about meetings. We all have them, but they can often feel like a complete waste of time. Meetings. Tell me about it. Wait, are you saying these prompts can actually make meetings better?
No,
Yeah.
Charles. Good preparation is key to getting things done in meetings and making sure your time is well spent. Prompts #11, #12, and #13 help you streamline the whole process of getting ready for a meeting. What kind of things do these prompts help you do?
They guide you in gathering all the information you need, understanding what everyone's role is in the meeting, and figuring out the most important things to discuss. It's like having a checklist to make sure you're walking in fully prepared and ready to contribute.
Okay, that makes sense. No more walking into a meeting feeling lost and unprepared.
Exactly. And here's something fun. Prompt #14 is an icebreaker generator. It gives you creative prompts to start your meeting on a positive and engaging note.
Oh, I like that. A little bit of fun to break the ice and make everyone feel more relaxed. It's incredible how these prompts cover so many different needs and situations.
They do, and we've really only scratched the surface. There are prompts for managing your day, boosting your creativity, even improving your well-being.
Okay, now I'm really excited to explore these prompts even further. But before we do that, I want to hear from you, our listeners. Which of these prompts has piqued your interest so far? Let us know, and we'll dive deeper into those as we continue our deep dive.
Yeah, it's great to hear that you're excited about these prompts. And you're right, we've only just begun to explore what they can do.
I have to say, I'm really drawn to the idea of having a more structured approach to my day. I often feel like I'm just bouncing around from task to task, just reacting to things as they pop up instead of being more proactive and intentional.
I hear that a lot from people. It's tough when you're constantly bombarded with notifications and demands. It can be really hard to feel like you're in control of your time.
Exactly. Are there any prompts that could help with that, help me feel more in command of my day?
For sure. Prompt #9, for instance, is all about creating a visually appealing and easy-to-follow overview of your day. It encourages you to use things like emojis and other visual cues to make it more personalized and engaging.
Ooh, visual cues. I like that I am definitely a visual person, so that sounds right up my alley.
And then there's Prompt #10. I think you'll really love this one. It's basically like your own personal morning briefing. So picture this. You wake up and you have a curated summary of everything you need to know to get your day started. The weather, breaking news, your upcoming appointments, any unread messages from important people, even a little bit of inspiration to set the tone.
Hold on. This sounds incredible. No more running around feeling scattered and behind.
Exactly. It's all about setting you up for success, giving you that feeling of being prepared and in control, which I know is something that's important to you.
Speaking of feeling prepared, you mentioned that there are prompts for mastering meetings. Since we've already tackled the to-do list, maybe we should move on to those next.
Sounds good. Remember Prompt #12, the one that helps you gather all the relevant information for your meetings? Well, Prompt #15 actually takes it a step further. It helps you figure out the best times to schedule those meetings.
Ooh, that's a big one, especially when you're trying to coordinate with people in different time zones.
It's a lifesaver. This prompt looks at everyone's working hours, lunch breaks, even individual preferences. And then it suggests the best possible times for everyone to meet.
So no more endless back and forth emails trying to find a time that works for everyone. You can just let the prompt do the heavy lifting. That's brilliant. What else do we have for conquering the meeting madness?
Well, once the meeting's over, Prompt #20 comes in to help you summarize the main takeaways. It can even suggest action items for following up.
So it's like having a virtual assistant taking notes and reminding you what needs to happen next.
You got it. And since we're on the topic of communication, there's another prompt that addresses a challenge a lot of people face these days.
Oh, okay. I'm curious. What's that?
It's the challenge of communicating clearly when you have language barriers or when you're dealing with complex information.
Yeah. I've definitely been in situations where it felt like I was speaking a completely different language, even though we were technically using the same words.
Exactly. That's where Prompt #24 comes in. It helps to simplify communication. You can think of it like a translator, but instead of just translating words, it helps you get your message across in a way that's clear, concise, and easy to understand, no matter what language someone speaks.
Wow, that's really impressive. So it could be used to explain like a complicated medical diagnosis to a patient in plain language, or to break down technical jargon for someone who's not a tech expert.
It emphasizes how important it is to meet people where they are and make sure information is accessible to everyone.
That really resonates with me. I'm all about making knowledge and information accessible both for myself and for others. And speaking of learning, you mentioned something about prompts that make learning fun.
I did. Remember how we talked about tailoring these prompts to fit your needs? Well, Prompt #33 is a great example. It lets you create engaging quiz questions on any topic you want.
Quizzes, you're speaking my language now. I love a good quiz, especially if it's on a topic I'm interested in.
It's a fantastic way to make learning more interactive and fun, whether it's for personal growth, professional development, or just for the sake of learning. Imagine creating a quiz for your team after a training session.
Right.
Or just having some friendly competition and learning something new together.
I love that idea. It's like adding that element of gamification that makes learning so much more engaging. Okay, so we've got prompts for catching up on information managing tasks, mastering meetings, simplifying communication, even making learning fun. What else is in this treasure trove?
So you know how we talked about how important it is to tailor information to your specific goals? Well, Prompt #41 takes that idea and applies it to your resume.
Oh, interesting. So instead of using a generic resume for every job you apply to, This prompt helps you highlight the skills and experience that are most relevant for each specific opportunity.
Exactly. It's like having a career coach who helps you showcase your strengths in the best possible way.
That could be huge in today's job market. It's all about making those keywords and accomplishments stand out. I know you're really into things like introspection and self-improvement. So tell me about the prompts that address those areas.
Ah, you know me so well. There are actually quite a few prompts that focus on self-awareness and personal growth. Two of my favorites are hashtag 45 and hashtag 46.
Okay, I'm all ears. I'm always up for a little introspection.
Well, prompt hashtag 45 analyzes your communication patterns to figure out your leadership style.
It's fascinating. It's like holding up a mirror to yourself and seeing how your communication style affects your leadership.
Exactly. It helps you figure out your strengths and weaknesses as a leader and gives you insights on how to develop further. Prompt hashtag 46 builds on that by analyzing your communication. And it figures out how effective you are overall and how much people trust your expertise.
That's so valuable. It's like getting feedback from a trusted mentor. But instead of relying on someone else's observations, you're getting objective insights based on your actual communication patterns.
Right? And by being open to those insights and being willing to adjust how you communicate, you can become a more effective communicator and a more inspiring leader.
So we've explored prompts for boosting productivity, improving communication, mastering meetings, even delving into self-awareness and leadership. These prompts are incredibly versatile. But with so many options, I can see how it might feel overwhelming to know where to begin.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's something that the source material emphasizes as well. The key is to start small. Pick one or two prompts that really resonate with you, the ones that address your most immediate needs or that just pique your curiosity, and experiment with those. Don't try to do everything at once.
That's great advice. It's about taking ownership of these prompts, gradually weaving them into your routine and seeing what works best for you.
Exactly. It's a journey of self-discovery. There's no one right way to use these prompts.
So to our listeners, I encourage you to take action. Don't just let these ideas stay in your head. Put them into practice. See what works for you and watch those small changes grow into something truly transformative.
It's been fantastic exploring these powerful prompts with you. I'm really excited to see how you use them to unlock your potential and create a life that's both productive and fulfilling.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep exploring the world of knowledge and possibility. As we've been talking about these prompts, I keep thinking about how they're kind of like seeds. You plant them in your mind. And then with some care and attention, they can grow into something amazing.
I like that analogy a lot. It's not just about listening to information, but really engaging with it and letting it take root.
Exactly. It's like taking care of a garden. Your productivity and creativity, they'll just flourish with consistent effort and, a little bit of experimentation.
And the cool thing is, the more you use these prompts, the more they just become part of how you work. It's like you're forming a new habit, a new way of approaching problems.
So it becomes almost automatic to think, okay, what prompt can I use to help me with this?
Exactly. It's about shifting your mindset to one that's proactive and intentional. And that shift can have a huge impact on all parts of your life.
We've talked a lot about the practical side of these prompts, getting things done, managing time, communicating well. But I'm also picking up on a deeper theme here, something about personal growth and fulfillment.
You're right on the money. These prompts aren't just about getting more done. They're about living a more fulfilling life, a life that makes a difference.
So it's not just about checking things off your to-do list, but about making sure your actions line up with your values and your goals.
Exactly. You want to be intentional with your time and energy. Use these prompts as tools to help you build the life you really want.
I like that it's about taking control of your story instead of just reacting to whatever happens.
And that feeling of being in charge, that empowerment, can be incredibly transformative.
As we wrap up our deep dive, I want to circle back to something you said earlier about starting small. What advice would you give someone who's feeling overwhelmed by all the options?
Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Pick one or two prompts that speak to you. The ones that address your most urgent needs, or maybe the ones that spark your curiosity.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Make the prompts your own. Adapt them to fit your situation.
Absolutely. Remember, this is about you. There's no right or wrong way to use them.
So listeners, I really encourage you to take action. Don't just let these ideas float around in your head. Put them into practice. See what works for you and watch how even small changes can grow into something truly amazing.
It's been a pleasure exploring these incredible prompts with you today. I can't wait to see how you all use them to unlock your own potential and create a life that's both productive and fulfilling.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep exploring the world of knowledge and possibility.